Alhamdulillah wahdah, wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'dah, amma ba'd. So inshallah ta'ala, we are still going through those changes that would happen in a weak verb. And those changes we have categorized into many actually, but 7 main ones are either they're completely sahih, which is sound without any of those defects, or they may have defects. So defect could be one of the huruf al-illa. So if a letter is from harf illa group, which is alif, waw, and ya, the defective letters, then it is a weak verb. Likewise, if there is hamza at any of the three positions, it is a weak verb. Or if there was a sahih, which is other than alif, waw, and ya, and hamza, any other letter, but two of the same kind, found at ain and lam position of the verb, then it is called muda'af. And muda'af are doubled verb, like we've seen. So let's see what happens there. Just look at the paradigm here. So you have memorized this nasara from the scale of, any bab. We did abada, I think abada, abadu, same here. Nasara, nasara, nasaru, nasarat, nasarata, nasarna, nasarta, nasartuma, nasartum, nasarti, nasartuma, nasartunna, nasartu, nasarna. That's the paradigm that you've memorized from abada. Same here, same scale. If you put that muda'af here, which is doubled verb, which is madada. So you have got madada, two dals together. So ideally, well, technically, it should be on this scale, on the scale of nasara. It should be nasara, madada, fa'ala, same scale. Yeah? Then nasara with alif, madada, nasaru, madadu, nasarat, madadat, nasarata, madadata, nasarna, madadna, nasarta, madatta, nasartuma, madattuma, nasartum, madattum, nasarti, madatti, nasartuma, madattuma, nasartunna, madattunna, nasartu, madattu, nasarna, madadna. You could see that it just falls onto the same pattern as you have seen in Bab Nasara. But obviously, the rule of idgham needs to be applied. When you have two letters of the same kind, you have to merge them together. Idgham means to merge. When you merge and it becomes one letter, you have to merge with a shad, a tajdeed on top. The first of the tajdeed, the tajdeed has two letters underneath, the two dals in this case. The first one must be sakina. First one must be sakina. So madada, so you have to make it madda. And you have done that before. So what you do, madda, you write with one dal and shad on top like this. So madda. Okay, so this is your first one, madda. Now, madda here. So madada becomes madda. Madada becomes madda. Likewise, maddu, maddat, maddata. Now here, look at that. Here, you cannot do anything. You have to keep it the same way. You are bound to keep this in the same fashion. Why? Because the second dal is already sakin. If you want to merge them, the first dal would need to be sakin, and you can't have two sakins together. And when you have two sakins together, you make the first one active anyway. So here, you do not need to do that. And in fact, you have no other choice but to keep it like this. So this is called non-merging, or separating again. So we say idgham is done here like this, and fakkul idgham, which is demerging or unmerging them. So this is what happened here. So madadna, and then obviously madadta, but with tajweed you pronounce madatta straight onto ta. Madatta, madattuma, madattum, madatti, madattuma, madattunna, madattu, madadna. So from madadna, third person feminine plural, down, it would be all non-merging of the dal. Okay, so idgham only could apply here. None of these would be able to take it for technical reason, which is that the second dal is already sakina here. You can't make the first one sakin again. You can't have two sakins together. Now, don't worry about this shed. This shed is only put there to say that when you read as tajweed, rather than saying madadta, madadta, which is nasarta, you just say madatta, because it is easy to pronounce ta there, because dal and ta comes from the same makhraj. It happens when it is called, this is the rules, this is from the rules of tajweed, where you do that. But don't worry about this shed. It's actually madatta. Okay. So you drop that dal and say straight the ta, because the makhraj of ta and dal are in the same place, at the same makhraj, same exit point when you pronounce it. It's just technically pronouncing becomes easy with that. So that's the first one. Then mudare, you would have same issue with mudare. So mudare, yansuru, nasara, yansuru, yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna, tansuru, tansurani, yansurna, tansuru, tansurani, tansuruna, tansurani, tansurina, tansurani, tansurna, ansuru, nansuru. And their counterpart originally should be yansuru, yamdudu, yansurani, yamdudani, yansuruna, yamduduna, tansuru, tamdudu, tansurani, tamdudani, yansurna, yamdudna, tansuru, tamdudu, tansurani, tamdudani, tansuruna, tamduduna, tansurina, tamdudina, tansurani, tamdudani, tansurna, tamdudna, ansuru, amdudu, nansuru, namdudu. Okay, so this is what the original form should be if they were following the pattern of Nasara Yansuru, which we know this one does. But again, here you have two dals together and both mutaharrik, you have to merge them. But if you are merging them, what would happen? The first one must be sakina. So if you have this dal as sakina and you already have a meme which is sakina, how would you pronounce two letters and both are sakin? You can't. So rather than making it sakina, you switch the sign of dhamma onto meme and you say yamuddu. So then the first dal would become sakina. Yamuddu. So yamdudu becomes yamuddu. It's like yaqbulu becomes yaqulu. So the same thing happens here. But obviously there was two different letters, qaf and waw. Sorry, waw and lam. Here it is the same. Both dal, so that's why you can't see that clearly. So yamdudu becomes yamuddu. Yamdudani, yamuddani. Yes. Yamdudani. Again, you just interpose this dhamma onto meme, and this sakina would be merged with this dal, with the shell on top. Yamuddani. Same here, two dals, both mutaharrik, merge them together, take this dhamma and give it to the meme before it. So you do not have two sakin letters together. And yamudduna. Tamdudu, tamuddu. Tamdudani, tamuddani. Yamdudna. This one remains. Why? Because we do not have two mutaharrik dals. you should have two mutaharriks, or the first one is sakina, second one is mutaharrik, but can't have the other way around. So yamdudna. So yamdud, you do not need to do anything, because this is sakina anyway. If you make this sakin, you would have meme, dal, and dal sakin. Even if you give this meme, that dhamma of dal, the first dal, yamud, and then what about the next dal? How would you pronounce second? Because you remember, underneath the shad letter, there are two letters of the same kind. Underneath the shad, there are two letters of the same kind. First one is always sakina, second one is always mutaharrik. First one is always sakina, second one is always mutaharrik. So the second one is already sakina, you can't apply it. It has to be, you can't apply that rule here because already sakina. So how would you make this one sakin? So no idgham, you can't do idgham here. It's impossible to do idgham here. That's why they don't. So yamdudna, tamuddu, tamuddani, tamudduna, tamuddina, tamuddani, tamdudna. Again, this is feminine. Yamdudna, third person female, and second person female. Tamdudna, they remain the way they are. And amdudu becomes amuddu, namdudu becomes namuddu. Now, what about making that into majzoom, mudari majzoom? So remember, mudari get jazm if it is preceded by in or lam or lamma or lamul amr or la nahi. You've done it before. So lam, if you put lam before nasara yansuru, mudari yansuru, lam yansur, the last letter becomes sakina. This is from the jazim of mudari, from jawazim of mudari. And what does it do? It makes mudari into past. The meaning would be he did not help. Lam makes the mudari into madi and negative, okay, and gives jazm to it. Okay. So lam yansur, he did not help. Ma nasara and lam yansur have same meaning. Lam yansur, lam yamdud, lam yansura, lam yamduda, lam yansuru, lam yamdudu, lam tansur, lam tamdud, lam tansura, lam tamduda, lam yansurna, lam yamdudna, lam tansur, lam tamdud, lam tansura, lam tamduda, lam tansuru, lam tamdudu, lam tansuri, lam tamdudi, lam tansura, lam tamduda, lam tamsurna, lam tamdudna, lam ansur, lam amdud, lam nansur, lam namdud. And do you know why this is sakina? Yes, because lam makes it mudari as sakina, so that's why there is a. What about this? What about this? You drop the noon i'rabi in where there is noon i'rabi, which is in tasniya form, yansurani, and jama form of muzakkar, yansurani, yansuruna. This noon gets dropped. This one gets dropped, and that's a sign of this being either majzoom or mansoob. Same thing, no difference. Sorry. What you do the hasf of noon i'rabi. Hasfu noon i'rabi. You drop noon i'rabi. Yansurani, yansur. Ra, lam yansura. Lam yansuruna, lam yamsuru, lam yansuru. You drop that noon from here, from there. And there are another ones. So here, again, this one gets the noon dropped. So 3, and then you get your noon dropped here, 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7. So 7 noon i'rabi where you drop those. Let's have a look at the previous one where you this is where you have your normal mudari. So where are Nun Irabi? Nun Irabi is this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. This one is not Nun Irabi. Third person feminine Noon is Nun Niswa. This one is Nun Niswa. Okay, so they do not get dropped. Yansurna and Tansurna remain, then Yansurna and Tansurna. They remain the same throughout. Nothing can change them. Okay. So
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على حي على الفلاح. حي على الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على حبيبك حبيبنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين. اللهم رب هذه الدعوه التامه والصلاه القائمه آت محمدا الوسيله والفضيله وبعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته انك لا تخلف الميعاد. So yansurani, yansuruna. So the feminine third person and second person, that noon is noon niswa, noon of femininity. It doesn't get changed at all. Yansurna, yansurna. Rest of the noons get dropped. Even the second person feminine. Tansurina become tansuri. Okay. And other 5 with, ansuru, nansuru, yansuru, tansuru, tansuru. Those 5, they just show the jazm at the end. So the noon i'rabi, you drop the noon i'rabi. Noon niswa, you keep the noon niswa. Those without noon i'rabi and noon niswa, you give them jazm. And just to contrast that with nasab, in the nasab form or mansub forms of mudari, you do with, for example, lan. So you do the same thing. Noon i'rabi, you drop that. Noon niswa, you keep them. And the singular form, like mufrad forms, they get fatha at the end. Lan yansura with fatha. That's the only difference you would have. Okay. So you drop those, and same here. So let's go back to the how it would work. Here you would have lam yansur. Look at that, lam yamdud. But 2 dals together, how to pronounce? So either you do lam yamud and do the merging, because you give this dhamma to the meme and merge them together. And obviously the last dal or the second dal should be active. And what sort of sign you won't make it? You have to give a extra sign to it, because you can't have 2 sakins under the shad. So you say yamudda, lam yamudda, lam yamuddu, lam yamuddi. All 3 are possible. Yamuddi, because as-sakin iza hurrika hurrika bil kasr. The normal standard position is, or the rule is, that when you want to make a sakin into mutaharrik, you give it kasra. Why you have to give a sakin any harkat in this case? Because you can't have 2 dals and both sakins, and you change this. So lam yamdud become lam yamud. And what about the second dal? How would you pronounce? You can't. The second dal must have fatha the more kasra to be able to pronounce it. That's because of the tajdeed on it. So lam yamudda, lam yamuddu, lam yamuddi. So yamuddi, because as-sakin is hurrika hurrika bil kasr, you can give that. Yamuddu, because that goes with dhamma of meme. Meme have dhamma, and it's easy to pronounce that way. And fatha is the highest level out of the 3 signs that you have. So when you've got the lower level ones, which is kasra and dhamma, the strength of fatha is very much high, and it is the easiest to pronounce. So they allow that as well. Arabs allow that. They say you can say lam yamudda, lam yamuddu, lam yamuddi. All 3 are fine. Okay. And you have also got the choice of keep the idgham separated. Means do not merge. Yamdud, keep the fakkul idgham in the same way. Okay. You do not need to do it. Lam yamdud remains lam yamdud. Okay. Same here. So that's the first one. For the one with the jazm at the end, the singular group or mufrad, lam yamdud. Likewise, lam tamudda, lam tamuddu, lam tamuddi, or lam tamdud. Like same here, lam tamudda, lam tamuddu, lam tamuddi, lam tamdud. Or lam amudda, lam amuddu, lam amuddi. All 3 are possibilities. Or just do the separation. Lam amdud. Likewise, lam namudda, lam namuddu, lam namuddi, lam namnud. Lam namdud. Separation. And if you want to merge in 3 different, all 3 are possibilities. In all 5 of these, where you have, jazm at the end. Okay. And jazm is because of lam. Okay. What about noon i'rabi, where you had noon i'rabi dropped? That's fine. You don't need to do anything other than merging them. Lam yamudda, lam yamuddu, lam tamudda, lam tamudda, lam tamuddu, lam tamuddi, lam tamudda. All 7 with the noon being dropped, you just keep it the same. Just merge them without any trouble. Easy. And what about the 2 noon of niswa, feminine plural form, third person and second person. They female and you all female. So lam yamdudna. So you have to keep it like this. Why? Because this second dal is sakin already. You can't make this dal sakina. So lam yamdudna remains no change at all here. So you keep the noon and no change. Here you merge them, here you can't merge, here you have both. You can either merge or you can keep them separated. This is the mudari way when it is in jazm state. Mudari when it is in a majzoom state, when it has a jazm. And what are the particles that would give it a jazm? In, lam, lamma, lamul amr, lamul nahi. Okay. Inshallah ta'ala. You got another example. You want to do lame amr. Okay. Same thing. Liyamudda, liyamuddu, liyamuddi, all three are possible. Liyamdud, you can separate them. For tasniya, drop the noon i'rabi liyam after merging. Liyamudda, liyamuddu, litamudda. Now that's up to here. But remember, when you come to nun al-niswa, liyamdudna and liyam. Now here, remember for amr, the amr of second person, you do not have lam there. Here, the amr is done without hamzatul wasl. And lam amr, you do not need. It is done with hamzatul wasl if there was a need. Here, it is not need. It is not needed. Let's just clarify that. What would happen normally? Mudari, tansuru, tansurani, tansuru. Just focus on this. This is a little bit tricky, but hopefully we'll be able to make it clear. I might need to write something to make it easy. Let's just start again from second person. Third person is fine, yeah? And first person is fine as well. As it was for lam, no difference. Li'amudda, li'amuddu, li'amuddi, or li'amdud. Li'namudda, li'namuddu, li'namuddi, or li'namdud. Separation and merging. Separation, merging. Separation, merging. And where the noon i'rabi was, you drop them. Except for the second person. Now in second person, mudare, you've got mudare, and you make amr from mudare. Now, if it was tansurani and you wanted to make amr from this, you would just bring hamzatul wasl. Unsur, unsura, unsuru, unsuri, unsura, unsurna. Yes, that's the amr from nasara yansuru. But here you have got muda'af, where you already have changed the harakat of meme, which is fa kalima. So you have meme with dhamma. How did you get that dhamma on meme? Meme is fa kalima. Fa kalima is sakina, like noon here in mudari. How did you get dhamma on that fa kalima, which is meme in this case? Because of idgham, you switch the haraka of first dal, which is this one, onto this. So you said tamuddu. Remember that, that's how we did. If you wanted to make amr from it, you just drop the ta and bring hamzatul wasl. But do you need hamzatul wasl here? Why would you drop alamati mudari and bring hamzatul wasl? Why do you need hamzatul wasl? Okay, let's go back to tansuru. If you wanted to make amr from there, how would you make amr? What are the steps? The first step is to remove the alamatul mudari, which is ta. Okay, you drop that. It becomes noon sakina and suru. You can't pronounce this noon sakina. You have to give hamzatul wasl. And this hamzatul wasl would either have a dhamma or a kasra in thulasi mujarrad. Dhamma if the ain kalima has dhamma, which is in this case, or kasra if it has fatha or kasra, both ways. Isma, idrib, kasra. Unsur, okay, and ukrum, So here you drop ta, give alif, which is hamza, and dhamma, unsur, and make the last letter into jazm, unsur. Here you have already, due to idgham in mudari, you have changed that position of noon, which is fa kalima, into mutaharrik, which in this word tamuddu is meme. So meme is fa kalima. We had noon there as fa kalima, which was sakina. Here we have meme, which is not sakina. So you drop alamat mudari. What have you got? Muddu. All you need to do is the last step. You do not need hamzatul wasl. That step is gone. You do not need hamzatul wasl. You needed hamzatul wasl if meme was sakina. You already got dhamma on meme, which you have taken from the dal, the first dal of tamdudu, to make it, merge with the second dal. So here you just dropped alamat mudari. The first letter, which is meme, is not sakina anymore, so you do not need hamzatul wasl. You just say mud, but you have to make this last letter into either sakina. So if you do that, the mud, the second dal, how would you pronounce that? Again, you can do fatha, dhamma, kasra, all three. Mudda, muddu, muddi. All three are possible, as it was here. Or you can just redo it, and rather than giving this meme, the dhamma of dal, you leave it like this and drop this ta, alamati mudari, put hamzatul wasl and make it umdud fakkul idgham. That's a possibility as well, which is the original form. Umdud, umdud. Okay. It's possible only here. And but normally you use mudda, muddu, muddi. This is command letter. It means stretch. Mudda, stretch. Muddu, stretch. Muddi, stretch. Same thing. You have choice of saying mudda, muddu, muddi. Okay. Tasniya would be mudda, muddu, muddi, mudda, umdudna. Here, feminine. Yes. You can't, because that noun is must. You can't do merging here. This is a bit tricky, and it will sink in after a few lessons when we keep going through that. That's why I just did this much today. And I think I needed to have the board, which somehow computer is playing today. But inshallah, next week we do that again from this scratch, this one, just to make it easy, inshallah. Jazakallahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum.